A very fine good morning, my all dear students. Today we will continue with the chapter 1 Gravitation of Science 1, Standard 10th. In previous lecture we have studied about gravitation, force and motion, centripetal force, Kepler's law, Newton's law, etc. In today's lecture, we will study about uniform circular motion, some numerical problem, low and high tides, Earth's gravitational force, etc. Now, related to this lecture, let us have a look on some slides, children. See here how the mass of the Earth is there, that you can see here, and how the r is taken, the radius of the Earth. Now, we'll come to the next. You can see here, children, that this is the apple which is falling downwards, and that was observed by Newton. Now, come to the next slide. He is the scientist Newton, and he proposed the universal law of gravitation. Now, here is the centripetal force, how we can see the centripetal force is formed, that we will see here. This is the slide. Now let us start with our explanation part. So children, here we will start with this. We can see here that uniform circular motion or magnitude of the centripetal force. So let us start. Now we will consider an object is moving in a circle with a constant speed. Constant speed means it's in a certain time period, the distance is whatever he is covering or she is covering, that is the same. Like in the first hour he has covered the 10 kilometer, then in next second hour also he or she will cover the 10 kilometer only. This is the constant speed. So here we will see such motion is possible only when the object is constantly acted upon by a force which is directed toward the center of the circle, and this force is only called the centripetal force. So this you have to underline here, children. Now, if mass is the m and v is the speed, r is the radius, then we can show it with the formula F is equal to mv square upon r. M already I told, it is mass, and v also I told, that is speed, and r is the radius. Now, if a planet is revolving around the sun in a circular orbit in uniform circular motion, then the centripetal force acting on the planet toward the sun, it will be F is equal to mv square upon r, where m already I told you, it is the mass of the planet, v is the speed of the planet, and r is the distance from the sun, distance of planet from the sun. Here you know that formula is what, that you can see here, children, that speed is equal to distance travelled upon time taken. Now, the speed of the planet can be expressed in terms of the period of revolution, and that is denoted by t. Now, the distance travelled by a planet in one revolution is equal to perimeter of the orbit 2 pi r. Why? You know, because that had to cover a circular way, circular path. That is why it will be equal to perimeter, and that we can remove with the formula 2 pi r, where r is the distance of planet from the sun, and time taken is period of revolution, that is t. So let us see the calculation here, children. Here we can see v is the distance travelled upon time taken, and distance travelled is in a circular way, so it will be 2 pi r upon t. You can see here, children, it will be 2 pi r upon t. Now F is equal to mv square upon r, and that will become, as you all know, that v is equal to 2 pi r upon t, because distance traveled upon time taken. So distance traveled is 2 pi r and time taken is t. So that will be v. So in place of v, we will write here 2 pi r upon t. So it will become equal to m 2 pi r upon t upon r. So when we will square it, it will become 4m. M is in multiplication, so m will come here, then pi square and r upon t square. Because here we will multiply the numerator and denominator by r square. That is why we will get 4m pi square r upon t square. So now f will be equal to 4m pi square upon r square, because here r cube upon t square, that according to the Kepler's law, t square upon r cube is equal to constant. So f will be equal to, here we can see here f is equal to 4m pi square upon r square k, but 4m pi square upon k is the constant. So we can see, children, that Newton concluded that the centripetal force, which is force acting on the planet and is which is responsible for the circular motion, it must be inversely proportional to the square of distance between the planet and the sun. As well, the Newton also identified this force with the help of the force of gravity, and he postulated the inverse square law of gravitation. So who postulated the inverse law of gravitation? Newton. The gravitational force is much weaker than the other force in nature. Still, it controls the universe and decides its future. So this point you have to note down, children. It is important point that the force, gravitational force, is much weaker than the other force in nature, but it controls and decides the future. This is possible because of the huge mass of the planet and stars and other constituent of the universe. Now, let us see here some example are there, children, that we will see now. This is the first example given. These are the solved example, children. So let us see the first example. This is example 1. Mahendra and Virat are sitting at a distance of 1 meter from each other. Their masses are 75 kg and 80 kg. So m1 is 75, m2 is 80 kg, and distance between them is 1 meter. And g, that is the already you have studied, it is the gravitational force. So that is 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square upon per kilogram square. According to Newton's law, the F is equal to G m1 m2 upon r square. That you can see your formula, children. This is the formula. And G here is 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 into m1 is given 75 kg into m2 is given 80 kg upon 1 square. So it will become 4.002 into 10 raised to 7. 10 raised to minus 7. So how? Because already 6.67, the 2 zeros will be there, 1 zero is here, and 1 point they have increased. So that way it will become 4.002 into 10 raised to minus 7. The gravitational force between Mahendra and Virat is 4.002 into 10 raised to minus 7 Newton. This is very small force. And if the force of friction between Mahendra and a bench on which he is sitting is become 0. Then he will start moving towards Virat under the action of this force. So we can calculate his acceleration and velocity by using Newton's law of motion. Acceleration already you have studied in 9th standard, 8th standard, etc. So you must be knowing. I am not going to explain you again. Now here we will see now second example. So in this we will see it is related to first one. Assuming that bench on which Mahindra is sitting is frictionless, that means no friction is there. Friction, you know that what is exerted between the two surfaces when we just when this force, this two surfaces come in contact, and then a friction force is arising, or when one object is rubbed against the other object, then friction force is arising. So Mahindra's velocity of motion towards Virat after 1 second, and will this velocity change with time and how? So here what is given, children, that we will see first. So children, here force of Mahindra, that is F is equal to 4.002 into 10 raised to minus 7, that already we have removed. Mahindra's mass is 75. So A will be, A is what? A is the acceleration. So A is equal to F upon M. The F already we come to know, 4.002 into 10 raised to minus 7 upon M is 75. So this will become 5.34 into 10 raised to minus 9. Now that is meter per second square. Using Newton's first law equation, we can calculate Mahindra's velocity after 1 second. So Newton's first law equation of motion is what? V is equal to U plus AT. So here, as Mahindra is sitting on the bench, his initial velocity, that is U, that is 0. So it will become V is equal to U plus AT. So U is 0 plus A acceleration already we have removed here with the formula F upon M. So that is 5.34. You can see here, this is A, that we have removed by the formula F upon M. So here it is 5.34 into 10 raised to minus 9 into time is given 1 meter per second. So it will become 5.34 into 10 raised to minus 9 meter per second. Mahindra's velocity after 1 second will be 5.34 into 10 raised to minus 9 meter per second. So this is an extremely small velocity, and the velocity will increase with the time because of the acceleration. The acceleration will also not remain constant because Mahindra moves toward the Virat. So the distance between them will decrease. As he will move toward the Virat, distance will decrease, and which will cause an increase in the gravitational force. And this way, increasing the acceleration as per Newton's second law of motion. Now, assuming the acceleration in example 2 above remains constant, how long Mahindra take to move 1 centimeter toward the Virat? Now let us see here something about the tides. So you know about the high and low tides. You have studied in geography also. They occur regularly in the sea, and mostly the high tides are toward the moon. The level of the sea water at any given location along the seashore increases and as well as decreases twice a day at regular interval. High and low tides occur at different times at different places. The level of water in sea changes, as well as the gravitational force exerted by the moon also changes. And this why the level of water changes? Due to the gravitational force which is exerted by the moon. Water directly under the moon gets pulled toward the moon, and therefore the level of water also goes up, which causes a high tide at that place. So at two places on the earth at 90 degree from the place of high tide, the level of water is minimum and low tide occurs. You can see in this figure here 1.6. So these are the high and low tide formation. Now children, we will study about the earth gravitational force. Here we will study about the earth gravitational force. So if we can see that if a stone is thrown vertically upward, is the this whatever velocity is there that remain constant? No. How it will change, and why it does not, why the stone does not move upward all the time, why it fall down, that all we will see here. The earth is attract every object near it towards itself because of the gravitational force, and the center of the mass of earth is situated at its center only. So the gravitational force of any object due to earth is always directed toward the center of the earth. So this point you have to note down children, it is important point. This point, the earth attract every object towards itself because of that the center of the earth is situated in the center. So the gravitational force due to the earth is always directed toward the center of the earth, and that is why object falls vertically downwards on the earth. This is important point children. Now similarly we can see that when we throw the stone vertically upward, this force tries to pull it down and reduces its velocity. Due to this constant downward pull, the velocity becomes zero after some time. The pull continues and it is to be exerted, and the stone starts moving vertically downwards toward the center of the earth. So from where it got the influence? Due to the gravitational force of the earth. That is why it start falling downward. Now let us see the first example. This is the example 1. Calculate the gravitational force due to the earth on Mahindra. In the earlier example, mass of the earth is m1 is given 6 into 10 raised to 24 kilogram. Radius of the earth is given 6.4 into 10 raised to 6 meter. Mahindra's mass is m2, that is 75 kilogram. So g will become 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square upon kilogram square. So using the force law, the gravitational force on Mahindra due to the earth is given by this force. We can see that 1.83 into 10 raised to 9 times larger than the gravitational force between Mahindra and Virat. So here children, we can see F is equal to G m1 m2 upon r square. R is the radius of the earth. So F is equal to G, value of G we know 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 into m1 is given 75 into m2 upon 6.4 into 10 raised to 6 whole square. So m2 here is 6. So n is equal to, we can see 733 Newton. So children, here we can see F is equal to 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 into 75 into 6 into 10 raised to 24. That already everything's value is given here. 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11, that is G, 75 is what? m2, and m1 is 6 into 10 raised to 24. That is mass of the earth. Upon radius is what? 6.4 into 10 raised to 6 whole square. So what we are getting? 733 Newton. Now let us see the second example, children. This is the second example. Starting from rest, what will be Mahindra's velocity after 1 second if he is falling down due to gravitational force on the earth? So here we can see, children, that u is given 0 because initial velocity is 0. F is equal to 733 Newton. Mahindra's mass is 75 kilogram. Time taken is 1 second. And A, A is always equal to F upon M. So 733 upon 75 meter per second square. A will be 733 upon 75 meter per second square. According to the Newton's first equation of motion, V is equal to U plus AT. So Mahindra's velocity after 1 second will become V is equal to U is 0 because it is initial velocity, then 9.77 into 1 meter per second. Now, so it will become 9.77 meter per second. Now, this is 1.83 into 10 raised to 9 times Mahindra's velocity in example 2. According to the Newton's law of gravitation, we can see every object attracts every other object. So, if the earth attracts an apple towards itself, the apple also attracts the earth towards itself with the same force. Then we can see why the apple falls toward the earth, but the earth never moves toward the apple. So, same way we can see the gravitational force due to earth also acts on the moon, because of which it revolves around the earth. But similar situation exists for the artificial satellite which are revolving around the earth. And the moon and the artificial satellite which orbit the earth also attract them towards itself. But say how the apple is falling toward on the earth only, but the earth is not going toward the apple. Same way here, they also do not fall on the earth. This is because of the velocity of the moon and the velocity of the satellite in their orbit. So this point you have to note down, that why they are not falling in the orbit. This velocity was not there, then they would have fallen on the earth. Now let us see the gravitational force, earth gravitational force. This is all about earth gravitational force. Now, children, the earth exerts gravitational force on the objects which are near to it. And according to the Newton's second law of motion, a force which is acting on a body results in its acceleration. So, the gravitational force due to the earth on a body results in its acceleration. This is called the acceleration due to gravity, and it is always denoted by the g. So this point you have to underline, children. That the gravitational force due to the earth on a body result in acceleration. This is called acceleration due to earth and denoted by g. And always remember children that acceleration is a vector quantity. This is very important point. Now you know two types of the quantity you have studied, vector and scalar. Scalar, where we know the quantity only but no direction. Vector are the quantities where we should know the direction as well as their quantity also. For example, a car is moving toward the east at 10 kilometer velocity. So this is the vector quantity. So here also acceleration is also a vector quantity only. So as the gravitational force of the earth, we can see here as a gravitational force on any object due to the earth is directed toward the center of the earth, the direction of acceleration due to gravity is also directed toward the center of the earth, and that is why it is always vertically downward. So this point you have to note down, that this is always vertically downward. Now value of g on the surface of earth, that we will calculate here. Let us see. We can calculate the value of g by using Newton's universal law of gravitation for an object of mass m situated at a distance of r from the center of the earth. The law of gravitation of mass m, which is situated at a distance r from the center of the earth, that is given by F is equal to g m small m upon r square, where m, capital M, is the mass of the earth, m is the mass of the other object or satellite, g is the gravitational force. So F is equal, that is equation number 3. Here you can see children that F is equal to g capital M into small m upon r square. This is equation 3. Now here we can see F is equal to m into g, that is equation number 4. From 3 and 4th we can remove mg is equal to g capital M small m upon r square. So small g will be equal to, we will take g, small g will be equal to gm upon r square, because that m we will take that side, so that both will be cancelled out. Now therefore g will be equal to 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 into 6 into 10 raised to 24 upon 6.4 into 10 raised to 6 whole square. According to this, we will calculate here children, it will become 9.77 meter per second square. So this acceleration depends only on mass, that is m, capital M, and radius r of the earth. Capital M is the mass of the earth and capital R is the radius of the earth, and so the acceleration due to gravity at a given point on the earth is same for all the object. It does not depend on the properties of the object. So here children, I think you might have understood what I explained in this lecture. Now here I am ending my lecture children. Again I am telling you all that you have to make one long book. In that if it is 200 pages, then you can write both science 1 and science 2 point. If it is 100 pages only, you can write one subject. It is better to take 200 pages and make chapter wise whatever I am explaining. You write the important points, solve the numerical that day only whenever I am teaching, and whatever diagram are there, that practice that day only. That will help you for the future, and there will be no need at the last moment to mug up everything. No need of mugging up. You just understand everything in science, and that will be better for you to write your answers children. Thank you. If any doubt, you can ask me.